Have you ever noticed the way you talk to yourself when nobody's around? No, not out loud, but that voice inside your head, that inner voice, the self talk, the conversations that you have with yourself inside your head. It's that little voice that either cheers you on or it tears you down. That voice, that little voice, is the one that shapes your confidence, your relationships, and even your success more than you might realize. And today in the EQ classroom, we are going to talk about just that.
Yay!
And why that little thing of the self talk is probably one of the most important skills that you can unlock with your emotional intelligence. I'm glad you're here. Welcome back to class. I'm Susan. I am your host for this channel. Anything, everything, emotional intelligence, leadership, personal development, and overall well being. If you ever struggled with negative self talk, critical self thinking, or maybe even just feeling like you are your worst critic, I know I am my worst critic when it comes to my cooking, especially. But if you fall into any of those, this episode is just for you. All right, Susan. So, what is inner talk? Inner talk or self talk, that's the ongoing conversations that you or we all have going on with ourselves throughout the day. Sometimes it's an encouraging voice that tells you, you've got this, keep going. And other times, if we have negative self talk, it's going to say something along the lines like, man, that was dumb. You're stupid. Why'd you even say that? Here's the key though, your brain will pick up on that pattern of your self talk. It will start to get used to and build up a tolerance, so to speak, of that self talk. And then the actions that you start to take will follow along with what your brain has been trained to think. Because remember, what you think, your thoughts, they eventually become your words. And your words eventually turn into action. And your actions determine or carve out the path in your life. Think of it like this: your self talk is like the narrator of your life. If your narrator is constantly negative, constantly putting you down, the story you experience is going to be very limited. On the other hand, if your inner talk, if your self talk is positive, supportive, and compassionate, your story, the story that your narrator tells, is going to be a story of possibilities, of opportunity, of hope. So, why does that matter, Susan? Why does it matter how I talk to myself? You don't hear it. Nobody hears it, just me. So, why does it matter? And why do you care, Susan? Well, I care because you're important. I care because you're valuable. I care because you're worth it. But you want to know why it matters to you or why it should matter to you? Three powerful reasons why it should matter to you: because it affects your emotion regulation, because it affects your confidence and your performance, and because it affects your resilience. Negative self talk and emotion regulation, if you suffer from this affliction of negative self talk, guess what's going to happen to your emotion regulation? Guess what's going to happen to your mood if you're constantly being negative with yourself? You're not going to be a happy camper. And guess what's going to happen to that mood? You're going to spread it to everybody else. If, on the other hand, you have more positive self talk, your mood is going to be much more calm, and you'll be able to stay focused more. And then it affects your confidence and your performance. I mean, of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Think about, and this doesn't have to be your child, just think of an adult talking to a child and constantly telling that child, you suck. You can't do anything right. Why'd you even try? You know you were going to get it wrong. And that's all that child hears. Do you think that child will have the confidence to try new things? Do you think that child will have the willingness to want to try new things, to even try to want to succeed, when someone is constantly telling him or her, you suck, why'd you do that? You're stupid. You're not worth anything. Now imagine that being the voice inside your head. How willing would you be to try new things, to speak up? Probably not very much. If, on the other hand, you give yourself that grace, you give yourself that compassion, you give yourself that kindness, you messed up. Oh, that's all right. I learned something. Oh, that's okay. I'll do it better next time. Of course, that's going to affect your performance and your confidence, because you're going to know that you have the ability to succeed. There's that hope. There's that possibility. There's that opportunity. And then there's the resilience. Because again, if you are able to be kind and supportive and compassionate to yourself with your self-talk, of course that's going to help you bounce back when life throws some challenges your way, instead of the negative self-talk that would say, why'd you do that anyways? You were never going to get it right. You were always going to fail. You knew you were going to fail. Why'd you even try? That would keep anybody down. But that's not where you belong. And did you know that there are traps for negative self-talk? The 4 that I'm going to be talking about: the perfectionist view, the comparer, the catastrophizer, and the inner bully. And to be quite honest, I've been each and every one of those throughout my life. Not so much now. I don't really fall into those traps now. Maybe a little bit. But I do catch myself. The perfectionist view: everything's got to be perfect. If it's not perfect, if I don't get it perfect, I suck. I'm a failure. And then the comparer: mine's not as good as hers. I'm never going to be as good as she is. I suck. And then the catastrophizer: oh my goodness, if I don't get it right this time, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. My life is going to be over. Oh my goodness. And then the inner bully: you're so stupid, Susan. Why'd you even try that? You know you suck. Those are all some pretty harsh words, huh? Did you recognize any of those conversations with yourself? Actually, I hope you said yes. What? That's effed up, Susan. Hear me out. If you said yes, that makes me glad, because that means you are aware of it. And awareness, that's step number 1. So you're already winning, because you can't change a voice you're not aware of. If you don't recognize it, you can't change it. If you don't know the problem is there, you can't fix it. But once you hear it, once you recognize it, once you know it's there, once you acknowledge it, you can start rewriting your script. Change that story. Well, I did recognize some of the ones that you were talking about, Susan. Is there a way that I could improve my inner talk? Heck yes, there is. There's always room for improvement. There's always going to be a way to improve. Can you show me? Of course I can. Talk about 3 things that you can do to reframe, reshape your self-talk. The first one is the 2 C's: catch and challenge. When you catch yourself starting on that self-talk route, challenge it. When you catch it, ask yourself, would I say this to a loved one? I hope you're going to say no. And if your answer is no, then why do you say it to yourself? That's step number 1. Catch and challenge. Step number 2, reframe the story. Instead of the, oh man, I suck, I failed again. Try saying, well, I know what I can improve on. I know what I need to learn more about. Instead of, oh man, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm not good at anything. Try saying, I'm growing, I'm learning. Progress is a process. And then the third one, the last one, practice daily affirmations. And no, not those cheesy ones that you put on the bathroom mirror, even though I have my own up. I mean realistic reminders. Remind yourself, I can handle the challenges. I am learning. I am good enough. I am trying. I am worthy of respect, including my own. And little by little, you're going to start to notice that you are reprogramming your inner voice. You're reprogramming the way you talk to yourself. The conversations with yourself are changing. And once that starts happening, man, once you start working with yourself, imagine what you can do when you're not working against yourself. And I'll close out with this. The conversations that you have with yourself, that self-talk, that inner talk, that is going to be the most important voice you hear, because that sets the foundation for absolutely everything that you do in your life. That's how you will set the tone for the conversations that you have with the entire world. If you can master your inner talk and take control of that inner talk, you just unlocked emotional intelligence at its core. So here's my suggestion to you, and a challenge with self-talk is start small. Always baby steps. And start today. Listen to that inner voice. Listen to that conversation that you have with yourself. And if you catch something negative, if you catch negative conversations with yourself, stop right there and call yourself out. Call yourself out and say it. I'm being an asshole to myself. I'm being a jerk to myself. I'm being a douchebag to myself. I'm being unkind to myself. And then step back and reframe the story. Maybe I didn't get it right this time, but I'm trying. Maybe I didn't get it right this time, but I'm learning, and I am a work in progress, as we all are. Because remember, with emotional intelligence, with humanness, it's never about perfection. It's always about progress and presence. And the more you practice catching that negative self-talk, over time, you'll start to pay attention how it has changed your life. You'll be amazed at the transformation that can happen with just that small change in your thoughts and your self-talk. Do you struggle with negative self-talk? If you do and you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments. And if you found today's episode valuable, useful, helpful, I'd ask you to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. And if you know somebody who maybe isn't as kind to themselves as they should, share this video with them. And if you want to keep growing in your emotional intelligence, check out my other videos on my channel. Keep in mind, your inner voice is the most important voice you will ever hear. So choose your words wisely. I'll see you in the next class.